Hi family, hope you're all amazing and well. So in today's video I'll be talking about something really special and something simple that could help you, especially if you're new to trading and you're just trying to get something that you can understand, a strategy that won't give you hard time. Here I am with it today. So basically this is NZD card and looking at the higher time frame, this is the daily. You could obviously see that this market is, honestly, it's just consolidating for sure. So maybe let me go back to the monthly. This is a new month, Mercury, and as you can see, this thing has been consolidating right from 2013. Okay, so what do I mean by consolidating? I mean the market is just forming equal highs and equal lows. Okay, like this is the highest point of the market, okay, and this is the lowest point of the market, you see. But if you're to see, this market is just forming like equal highs, equal lows, so there is no candle that is going past another high. But so this was the highest point and you can't find any other candle closing above it. Whenever it comes like closer to this point, it just goes back down, just goes back down. So this is the consolidation and it's been there right from 2013 and up to now 2024. The year is ending and it's still just like that. So this market is obviously, I wouldn't really recommend anyone to swing trade it, because it wouldn't be a nice trade to really swing trade. Okay, you could hold it for a short while and just get out. Even in the daily, as you can see, it is just like that. So let's leave like all the past years. We are going to focus on this current price. So currently you can see it formed some sort of downtrend, like price started forming sort of lower lows and lower highs. As you can see, it started going on a downtrend of recent and then it is heading back up. Okay, so the previous candle of the previous month, that was November, as you can see, it closed as a bearish candle. As you can see, this last candle is a bearish candle. So heading on to our H4, looking at the current, like let's say this is our H4, you can see that market was actually, it sort of came back down. So let me just draw our order block right down here. Like the highest and lowest point is what I've been marking. So price came up to this point, it came from down up here, came back down, bounced back up to this, it formed this up like this highest point and then came back down to this very point. So when it reached this point, as you can see, price respected it a lot. That means this is a major support area, or rather is it supply zone, and market just headed back up. Once it reached there, market went back, came back for retracement, headed back, and we are having such a scenario. Okay, so this shows you that market is sort of now heading for an uptrend. It has been on a downtrend and most likely it would be heading back up. But as I've told you, you've seen the general picture of this market. It is a choppy market, it is a consolidating market, and you don't want to hold these trades for so long. So you just want to look out for some opportunities, hold it for a few minutes or even a day, and that's it. Okay, so what we are going to do is draw our trend line right here. So our trend line, we are going to start from our swing low, which is this starting point, and head back up to our swing high. So how many touches do we have? We have just about 2 touches, and that's okay. So a proper trend line, you would need to have at least 2 to 3 touches or even more. So the more touches, the better. Okay, the more touches, like what I mean is that the more candles touch the trend line, the better. So as you can see, this candle, the first time it touched here, the second this other candle touched, so this other one almost touched but didn't, and then we are having this other one that hasn't, so just came close enough to the trend line and then bounced back up. So we are going to rename this trend line. Okay, we are going to rename this other trend line, and we are going, since this is H4, we are going to call it H4. So come under, what I did was tap on the trend line, tap these 3 dotted lines, come under settings. So just scroll under settings, then it will bring you style as the first. So this upper icon is what I'm working with. So tap on text, and then you're going to tap in this text box. So you're going to just tap in there H4 trend line. Okay, so after that the name will be there. So that is our H4 trend line. So this trend line helps you to, why I'm naming it is because we are going to add an alert. Okay, we are going to add an alert, and we want to be notified, the market, we shall get a notification on whether a candle has touched this trend line. So anyone touching this trend line, you shall be notified. You get a notification, either an email or just a text message. You shall get notified that actually there is someone touching the trend line. And once the candle comes close enough to this trend line, you don't enter immediately. You wait for a certain confirmation. So you need to go on the lower time frames, let's say minute 30, 15 or 5 minutes, and then confirm some buys or sells, because once it reaches the trend line, there are two possible things that could happen. It could either continue to respect the trend line and go back up, bounce back up, or it could disobey the trend line and break through and then continue on a downtrend, or it could even fake out and then come back up into the uptrend. So those are the three possible scenarios, or it could even just consolidate around them. So those are the scenarios. So before I set the trend line, I want us to first go on our H1 as well and create, yes, and see whether we can have another trend line. So as you can see, our H1 we are going to create, yes, so we can draw another trend line right here. Okay, yes, so we could just start out from here, and then yes, we could just do that up to right there. Yes, so as you can see, we could just rename this other trend line that we have created as well. Let's just rename it. So under settings text, we are going to name it as our H1 trend line. Okay, and that's it. So as you can see, it is also named right there. And what happened in our H1, we had actually price respected this other trend line on our H1. I don't know if this is visible enough. Okay, yes, so price came, once it reached this order block down here, it's sort of consolidating a bit, and then we had this push up, came back to retest the trend line, pushed back up. Yes, and then we had another retracement back to this trend line, H1 trend line, and then we're having this last upper push. Okay, this other, the most recent push to the upside. So what we are waiting for is most likely that price could still come back to this trend line, our H1 trend line, retest it and head back up, or it could even come back up to this H4, this other H4 trend line, retest it and head back up, or it could decide to break through all these other H1 and H4 trend line and still go back down. Okay, so what is important is you need to have the overall picture of the bigger time frames, and then come back down and look for opportunities that align with what the bigger time frames are saying. So if you're seeing a buy on the bigger time frame, you want to do what the market is telling you. There's a lot of manipulation in the lower time frames which you don't want to be caught up in. So one thing I should mention is that you don't just use the trend line only. There are many confluences, and what I mean confluences is that they're basically like signs, that confirmations that tell you that, oh, actually it's a buy. So I personally prefer to use trend line. You could incorporate in trend lines. Okay, I mean support and resistance. So you need to mark out those areas as well. And then the other confirmation you could still incorporate are the candlestick patterns, like how the candles are behaving at that particular point. So what we are going to do is mark up our zones and on our H1. Okay, so this is a zone. Okay, and once, yes, okay, let's first mark it out, and then we are going to see what price. So I think we can just draw that our chart shouldn't look so messy. And as you can see, price actually, let me just use this other arrow. Yes, so as you can see, when price reached this area, this order block, we had the pump. Okay, price went really up, and then came back for a retracement to this trend line, headed back up, okay, and then came back down. So what do you realize? It actually came and retested not just the trend line, not just the H1 trend line, but also we had a retest of the support zone here, this other one. So what happened? It went back up. It had a push up because we had two things in play, guys. We had let me just change the color, I think the pixels. Okay, so this thick line that you can see that I've marked out is the support zone. Okay, this thick line that I've marked out is the support zone. So price, when it reached this support zone and we had the trend line at that particular area, it just had to respect all those two and went back up. So what do we expect from here? How are we going to tell? Like, one thing we are going to be doing is add alerts on these key areas that we have marked out. So the first is this H1 time frame, and that is what I want to teach mostly this in this video. That is to add alert. So come tap on this trend line. Let's start with the H1 trend line. We want a notification when price comes and taps this trend line. In any case, it will be a good time to either buy or sell. But guys, be mindful. You need to have another confirmation. You need to look at what is market having and look at the news as well. Don't just enter. When you're analyzing, the first thing you need to look at is the news. Okay, you don't need to just come analyze and enter. That is risky. You need to first look at the charts. You need to look at the forex factory for any news in play and know when to enter. So you tap on the trend line, tap on these three dotted lines, and then the first option is add alert on trend line. So you just tap on it and it will bring you a whole lot of stuff. So there is settings and then notifications. So as you can see, I already have, I think this is just what I set. Okay, so come under settings. So the symbol is NZD card and we are on H1. Condition is the price. So what do you want? This arrow crossing down, like facing down, brings you option crossing up, down, greater than, less than, all that stuff. So we want when the candle is crossing this trend line. So I think crossing down will be okay. So when the price is crossing down, we want to be notified. Or if the price is crossing above, you can still do that as well. And then the trend line, you can modify it in any way, but let's just leave it as trend line. So the trigger right here, you can say only once or once per bar, like every bar that forms once it reaches the trend line, you want to be notified, or once per minute, like every minute. You could decide any option that you want. So you can be like once per minute, maybe you're so busy and maybe you think you'll miss out the only once, you could put that once per minute. So it keeps ringing each and every time. So the expiration they're giving us here is January 1st, 2025, and that's just okay. You just want to give price time because it could do anything. It could go back up, really up, and then once it comes back, you want to be notified once it reaches that particular trend line because you know it is a key area. So the alert name, you could name it. So we could name it H1 alert. Okay, H1. We could say H1 trend line. Okay, so that you know that price is actually crossing the first trend line, which is on H1. The message will come as NZD can H1 crossing down, all those details. Okay, so after doing that, you're going to press on create, and so it says alert saving failed, please try again. So you could just redo, like you could just redo everything, but it is the same procedure. Okay, it is the same procedure, and I think I did some wrong setting, but once you do all this, it will obviously have to show you, created. Okay, and one thing you can know that now it is there, it will bring you and clock like stuff on that particular trend line. So if you want for the H4 as well, it will still be the same procedure. Tap the trend line. You could even put on this other resistance, I mean the support zone. It is still the same procedure. Tap there, add alert on horizontal line, and then you are going to just create it. Okay, you give it the name you want to, and then you are going to just create it. Okay, and after creating it, you are going to be notified in case price comes there. So you don't need to be looking at your charts all the time like you are stuck there and you don't know what to do. You need to be free. You don't need to be captured like you're doing a 9 to 5. Okay, like you are really paying a lot of attention. No, that's not how it works. You could just have your peace knowing that you are going to be notified, and you don't have to miss out any trade. So at this point, you shouldn't enter. At least you should wait for price to retrace back to the trend line. That gives you a clearer point. It gives you a clearer angle of entry. But right now, you just be patient, because trading is all about patience. And if you're not patient, guys, trust me, it's really hard to win in this game. Okay. And basically that's that. You could have any other thing, but just adding on to this. So the other thing you could incorporate, actually I should tell you about, is the Fibonacci retracement tool, okay, which I actually talked about. You could check down one of the videos I took. I think I'll link it up, and just watch it how to use it. But if I'm to use it specifically, as well as one of the confluences as well, I've told you could use as many as you can. Okay, don't just use one thing. So the other is this Fibonacci retracement. So marking it out, as you can see, this support zone is actually at a key area. So after price, like I told you before, when you are using this Fibonacci retracement tool, the major zones that we prefer is the 38.2%, 50%. Let me just set it up into percentages because it is giving me value which I do not want to use. Okay, you could just check one of these videos, where I talk about all about the Fibonacci. So it's now in percentage. Price, after price leaving this support zone, it pushed back up. And where did it push up to? It pushed up to this area, which is the 38.2 retracement area, and then it bounced down, retraced up to the 76% almost, and then came back up. And the current retracement tells us it came back up to this zone of the 38.2%, which was a good zone. So once you got price around here, it would be a good time to enter. You would have some good confluences. You have the trend line, you have the support, you have the Fibonacci retracement, and indeed it came. Once it reached this area, it actually pushed up. Okay, it pushed up. This last push up we see, it was actually from this retracement area, which is 38.2, and then it came back up here, which is actually respecting the laws of this Fibonacci retracement tool. So you could still use the Fib retracement as well, and you're good to go. So with all that, really, how can you miss out? It's always valid, but trust, like I always tell you, no particular strategy is 100%. All you need to do is use it several times, retest it, back test it, and master it. So you could lose a few trades here and there as well, but know that the problem is not the strategy. The most basic thing is actually our psychology that you need to work on. But every strategy works, but not 100%. I can't stress that out enough. You need to just master the craft and know when to enter, find the proper entries, and you are good to go. So guys, comment down below if you've learned something in today's video. I hope I was able to help someone out there, and please don't forget to like, comment down below what you think, you want to clarify, or whatever you want to learn about, and I'll be glad to make a video about it. So thank you so much for the love and support. See you guys in our next